Darkness, page 169. I stayed with Saul until he was in his checkered flannel old man PJs and back in bed. With the oxygen flowing, he seemed fine, but you had to wonder what the exertion of playing had done to him. He turned to me, but didn't quite make eye contact. Boy, Chick, that wasn't a bad concert. Your friends are very talented, and you worked really hard. How could this man get me so mad so fast? So they're talented? And I worked hard? Thanks, Saul. You worked hard too. I especially like the way you tricked me into leaving my own concert, took over and made me look like a schmazel. Hey, take it easy, Alex. At least you're learning some Yiddish from me, right? And I didn't make you look like a schmazel. I just played better than you did. Yeah, you played better than me, that's all. Except you never even told me you played. So I made an idiot of myself for months playing in front of you, and you acted like you liked it while you were laughing in my face. Why didn't you tell me? You never asked, Alex. You've been coming here since the autumn already, and you've never asked me a thing about myself. You think I was born with the hose clipped to my face? He flicked at the nasal cannula side and continued lacing into me. You young people never think anybody over the age of 60 ever did anything. Well, I'll tell you something, Mr. Drunk, car crashing hotshot. I did plenty. He took another breath break, and I bit my lips so hard I could feel the salty blood oozing in between my front teeth. You know Mrs. Goldfarb down the hall? She was the principal of your high school for 32 years. Mr. Morin and 320? He ran a bank with his brother Albert. For 40 years, they built that business. Then they sold it for millions of dollars, and their kids shoved him in here 3 months later. Albert was dead before winter, but Mr. Moran vowed he'd outlive his no-good sons. He might do it, too. Saul emitted a sound that was like when you took a laugh and a wheeze struck together head-on in a freeway accident. Took a sip of water from the cup on his nightstand and started in yet again. And you sit there counting the hours till you can put me behind you forever. But I'll still be here, Boychuk. When I leave this place, it's going to be feet first. So don't tell me I didn't tell you. I didn't tell you. Why should I have to tell you when you already know everything? You know that Saul has a couple of things wrong because Alex isn't in a hurry to get done with him. He obviously has asked for extra time from the judge and he wants to spend time with him. So, part of what Saul is saying is not true. However, you know what? You guys, teenagers, you think that you do know everything, and you know what? You still have a lot to learn. And sometimes you need to listen to people who are more experienced. He got quiet, sipped his water, then lay back. He was breathing harder again, so I had a chance to yell at him for a while he got his wind back. But I didn't take it. Fine, I'll ask a question. Why don't you play guitar anymore? Why did you stop? His eyes were closed and he was silent for so long I thought he must have fallen asleep. Then his lips moved, and I had to lean all the way over his bed to hear him. Alex, I played guitar for a living. 30 years, 6 nights a week, New York, Miami, California, the casinos, cruise ships, the Poconos, the Catskills, you name the room. Lou Solomon played it. That's what they called me then, Lou Solomon. I don't know why, but my promoter thought it sounded less Jewish, like the audience couldn't take one look at this enormous schnoz on my face and figure it out anyway. Pause, breathing, sip. What the hell was I talking about? Oh, the guitar. I had a wife back then. Her name was Ethel, and she was beautiful. I know a name like Ethel maybe doesn't sound so gorgeous, but my Ethel was. She was small and bright, like a little bird. Your Lori reminds me of her. Remember how Saul reacted when he first saw Lori? We have a hint as to why he immediately, did that little weird alien taking over his body smile at her, because she reminded Solomon Lewis of his wife, Ethel. I interrupted. Lori said, I'm speaking here. Do you mind? Anyway, we had a daughter too, Judy. Cute, with the smart mouth, always with the smart mouth. I was gone too much playing the damn guitar, but I spent enough time at home to know that Judy was going to be something someday. It was a decent life. I traveled. I met all the great ones, Monk, Dizzy, Buddy Rich. I even sat in with Miles once at the half note. But after a while, it got old. Do you know what I mean? Like lobster, maybe. You eat it once in a while, and it's a delicatessen. You eat it every day, and soon it's just a giant bug with claws and butter sauce. And Judy was in high school. Ethel wanted to go back to work. She was a librarian, and me working nights was tough for them. Cough, breathe, sip. So what happened? You retired from playing to be with your family? I think that's really... No, I didn't retire to be with my family. I should have, but there was always one more big gig coming up, you know? So one day Ethel drives up to Mount Laurel in the Poconos to watch me play, which she didn't do that often, but Judy was sleeping at a friend's house and maybe she was lonely. Anyway, Mount Laurel wasn't such a great jazz room, but it was a bread and butter gig. 3 of those in a month and you paid the mortgage. Whatever. In the middle of the gig, I get a call to the hotel phone. Judy was in the emergency room back home with a high fever. Ethel wanted me to walk off the gig to drive to the hospital with her. But I said, and it's true, Ethel, I've never blown a gig. Never. And people know when they book Lou Solomon, they're getting a sure thing. You go. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's only a little temperature. We had a big argument. She said some things maybe she shouldn't have said, and I said some things too. But what was I going to do? I couldn't just walk off the gig. Ethel grabbed her purse, gave me one last look, the worst look I ever got from her, and I ran out of the ballroom. The band leader told me I should go after her, but I couldn't find her anywhere. I even sent the girl singer we had then into the ladies' room, but Ethel wasn't anywhere to be found. She must have headed straight for her car and just zoomed away. I had to go back on stage, so I did. I don't know. Maybe I should have run outside or something, jumped in the band truck, or tried to catch up. But who knew what was going to happen? And Lou Solomon never blew a gig. So I went back on. Breathe, sip, cry. Cry? Sure enough, Saul's shoulders were trembling and tears were rolling down his cheeks. Saul, you don't have to tell me if you asked, so I'm telling. It's fine. You should know this, I think. Ethel never made it home, Alex. Some drunken driver in a big truck fell asleep at the wheel on the Pennsylvania Turnpike and knocked my Ethel's car right off the road, right off a cliff. Bam! The highway patrol said she probably never even saw it coming, so at least there wasn't any pain. No pain, huh? I never played again until tonight. I painted houses instead. I was good at it, and I could be at home at night for Judy. So she spent another couple of years at our house and then moved away for school as soon as she could. Now I'm alone, and she's the big shot lawyer who never even picks up her Hanukkah flowers. I wasn't sure if this was the right move, and I'm not the most comforting guy in general, but I put my hand on Saul's arm. We stayed like that for a really long time, until both Saul and my left leg were fast asleep. Now I knew why Saul had gone ballistic over my little gnome episode. I pulled his blanket up to cover him, turned off the lamp over his bed, and I tiptoed out of there. Just as I hit the doorway, I heard Saul turn over and mumble, "I liked all blues, kid. Keep the key." I dozed off on the bus home with my hand clenched tight around the key in my pocket. It had been a long day. End of chapter.